Hello guys, this is Pedram Raufi and you are watching the Markets Review. During this program we are going to check the situation which we have on the stock market, on the Forex pairs, and of course we are going to check the charts of some of the most popular cryptocurrencies. So don't forget to watch this video till the end. As you know, the news background is kind of empty, but economic calendar of today got some releases on which we have to concentrate maybe for today at 13:30 by GMT. We have releases from Canada, correlates sales, which is going to be positive, and this could be not so bad for a Canadian dollar. Of course, don't forget that the most impact on the Canadian dollar caused the changes of oil prices. So that's the other most important impact. The other things that we have to actually pay attention on is the energy crisis, which is continuing, and the prices of the gas, which is continuing to rise as well. And as we see from yesterday and from today, we had some rising in the prices of the gas, and this rise could really continue during the future. And because of the energy crisis continuing and the Russian supply to Germany is not that much, so we have a problem with the supply chain as well. And not yet, but the stock market indexes are kind of under the pressure, about which we actually wanted to talk during today's program, because as you see on the daily chart or 4-hour chart, that previous 2 weeks, previous 3 weeks, we had a consolidational movement which continued on the markets. And if you pay more attention on the S&P 500 index prices and Dow Jones prices, we can actually get that we had a signal, or we are kind of have a signal of the reversal of the trend. But there is the target levels after the strengthening above which, or after the price actually, if the price stuck under them, these levels, we can actually say what where the prices are going to are headed to go. So there's some important target levels on the both of these charts that tell us this reversal is going to happen or not. But for yet is really early to say, even due to the spread or because of the spread of new variant, new coronavirus variant, which is Omicron. Despite all of these factors, we have a continuation of optimism on the markets, and of course the price of high-tech shares, they are not going to fall as well. So we have an optimism which is continuing, and let's just return to the technical analysis and just try to check what is going on with all of these technical factors on the charts, and then go through the Forex pairs and of course the Bitcoin pairs as well, most of popular cryptocurrency pairs which we have on our platform. So as we see on the S&P 500, the situation here is a little bit reversal for today, but this upward reversal movement maybe won't continue during the next sessions. Here's a really main reason, because we are really near to a level which is a mirror level. So we have to wait for its retest. We have to wait for its actually full retest, and after the price get above it, then we can say that prices are going to maybe rally higher and higher. 4,600 is a level that is now getting retest. So that's a psychological level due to the scale of this chart, and due to the time scale of this chart as well. This level is a little bit psychological, and as we see, it is a mirror level above which we continue the rising and under which we continue to fall. So here the most important level, which is the most nearest one and which is a mirror level, is 4,600, after the retest of which we could say where are the prices are heading to go, upward or downward. So we are waiting for the strengthening above this level, or we are waiting for prices to just retest this level and get under it and fix under it and just go downward. So the next step of price movement is really related. It really depends on the retest of this level. And the same situation on the Dow Jones prices we actually have. We have a mirror level which is about 35,000, maybe 500, or maybe 400. Here's a range: 35,000. Let's say 500 because it's a more rounded number. 35,500, or even we can say actually the range of 35,000 to 35,500 is a range inside which we could get moderately rise, or even we could just consolidate. But it won't mean that prices are going to rise before they get above 35,500. So here's actually a range which could get retested in the future, and this main resistance of this range is 35,500. And the retest of this resistance will show you what is going on next. So if we retest this resistance of 35,500 impulsively, with one impulse, with one abnormal candle, the next situation which we could have is the reversal. So the main thing that we need is to just get strengthened above this level. And 35,000 is a nearest psychological level which we have, and it is a support actually. So before we really get fixed under this level, we cannot say that there is a high risk of the next deeper downward movement. And even if we get under 35,000, here, due to the daily chart, scale, time scale, the retest of 35,000 or even the breakthrough of 35,000, it is not critical for long-term traders, for long-term investors. So just be careful that in the near future, due to all of both of these indexes prices, we are waiting for a retest of the nearest local resistance, and maybe the continuance of a moderate upward movement is more logical for next sessions, for next American session and Asian session as well. Let's go and observe what is going on with the main Forex pairs of Euro USD, Pound United States to United States dollar, Australian dollar to United States dollar, and New Zealand dollar to United States dollar. Situation here is upward, and before we are going to check all of these pairs, we are going to check the United States dollar price on the daily chart. As we see, we have a continuance of the reversal, but the main thing is that we really don't need to get fixed under 96.50. So 96.50 or 96 is a range which could retest in the near future, but we don't really need to get fixed under 96.50. If we get fixed under 96.50, it would be really good for stock prices. It would be really good for stock prices. It could be really good for euro prices, and for buyers, of course, for euro pound prices, and of course for Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar. In some way, it could be really good for gold even, and for oil prices as well. So if dollar prices are going to reverse, this could really help the stock market, oil prices, and of course the gold prices as well. especially due to the retest of this level, 96.50. If we get fixed under this level, which is happening now, the continuance of downward movement during next sessions is more likely. So about dollar, I'm kind of bearish for today, and for nearest sessions, I think that the situation could be more bearish than bullish for dollar. So most of these pairs like Euro, USD, GBP, USD, Australian dollar, 2 US dollar, and New Zealand dollar, 2 US dollar, they really could continue the upward movement. And here's some target levels, which we actually choose from previous time, after the retest of which we actually reversed, and we got a lower amplitude and the next reversal. And that was a logical actually thing to happen. And for Australian dollar as well, we had the retest of this level and the next reversal. So what can we tell about all of these pairs? That due to the 15-minute chart, the continuation of upward movement is more likely. But in short term, on some of them, we have signals of really short reversals. For pound dollar, we have a signal of a reversal after the retest of 132.60, which is kind of a mirror level, and which is a historical resistance mostly, but a mirror level as well. But don't forget that even the retest of this level could really give us potential of next rising to 32.80. So 32.60 today, 32.80, they could really get retested. Even despite this shrinking which we have here. Here we have a shrinking, this really short-term shrinking of the volatility in a formation of an uprising wedge or channel, which near to the local tops of the market, local highs, or the local resistance of the market, could mean that we are waiting for reversal. But because of the scale of this chart, we cannot say that this reversal could be really long term. So this could be just a short-term reversal, which could help you to get into the market with a better prices. Maybe get into the market about 132.40. So we already have an opportunity. Maybe we have an opportunity to get into the market with the better prices. Maybe it would be logical to wait for it, but I think that buys are going to continue anyway. Australian dollar, 2 US dollar, we have this shrinking as well, but we don't have the divergence. We don't have the divergence, but we have the shrinking of volatility. So here, the only thing that we can say is the really short term, really low scaled, like 100 points downward impulse, after which we are going to continue to strengthen further. And so what is going on with the commodity prices, the price of gold, silver, and platinum and palladium? The price of the commodity are always rise on some fares on the stock market. So stock market is now continuing to continuing to actually kind of try to go upward. And all we see is that due to the 15-minute chart, due to the short-term chart of all of this, most of the commodities, we have a downward movement or a pressure from bears. And there's a very interesting thing that due to the silver chart and palladium chart, we are really getting near to some resistance after the retest of which we could reverse. But it's all would depend on next dollar's reversal. So if dollar prices are going to reverse downward, the commodity could really continue to rise. But if we kind of sure about dollars upward movement continuance, we cannot really say that in the midterm, for example, in the 4-hour chart of all of these pairs, all of these commodities, we are going to observe a continuation of upward movement. So if dollar is going to continue the upward movement, we could really here have a next reversal and the continuation of downward movement. And due to the 4-hour chart of gold, here's a level, is a really important level of 1,800 under which we are kind of getting fixed. So always we said about 1,800 that its retest really means it means the next change of the direction. It could actually show the next change of the direction of the movement, price movement, after its retest. If we get fixed under it, or if we retest it and we get fixed under it, it could mean that prices are going to go downward. So maybe for now it's more logical to say that the prices of stock market are going to rise despite the Omicron fears and despite all of this negative background. That's more logical because of the volatility which we have on the stock market, because of many other things that we have on the stock market. Till the end of the year, we're actually waiting for the continuance of upward movement of stock market. So gold prices, silver prices, commodity prices, they can continue the downward movement or make some downward impulses. So for all of the commodity, I think that we could really have the better level to get into market, but be really careful here. Here we have some level after the retest of which we could get bounced and go upward. 1,785 or 86. Here's a level which is really important, and the retest of this level could really make prices to go to reverse and continue the upward movement. So here we have a range after the retest of which we would be more sure about the continuation of the direction of the the next direction of the price movement. So if we get impulsively retest 1,800 again, it would mean that prices are going to go downward. If we retest 1,785 or 87 impulsively with one candle, abnormal candle, this could mean that prices are going to reverse upwards and continue the upward movement. So here we have to really be careful. Above this range, we can buy. Under this range, we have to sell. So just wait for the retest, and when the price gets out from this range, 1,800, 1,785, 86. And the same situation we actually have on the silver prices. Really important mirror level or range which we are now retesting, and it's 2260. And let's say 2280 is the next level that is going to actually be retested, but impulsiveness of this movement is really telling us that the continuation of upward movement in the near future is not really the thing that we can rely on. So the next reversal is the most the next reversal is the most logical thing that we can say, especially because of the location of the mirror level above the quotes. So quotes are going to retest this mirror level, and they're going to retest it really impulsively. And here many things could really happen, but to rely on the continuation of upward movement in midterm, in some next sessions or some next days of commodity prices is not really a good thing to do. So we are going to continue to rise, but what we are going to have is a reversal and maybe a continuation of consolidational movement, or a widening of the volatility, which is really bad, which if you actually observe something like that, you have to get out of market, because the widening of volatility or expansion of volatility is not a really good thing. And platinum and palladium as well, they are kind of near to the local resistance, 960, 950 for platinum, and for palladium 1880, 1900 are the levels which could really get retested, but the continuation of upward movements is not real. It's not real due to this impulse, due to this impulsiveness of movement and the previous retest, which show us that really the prices of commodity now are located in a really sharp movement, upward movement, which could really end soon, and which could continue by the next consolidational movement or the volatility widening, during which you just cannot continue the buys, and if you get into shorts, it won't be a really good idea as well. So here we have to be more careful. This is $2 francs consolidating, but here we have a really good support after the retest, of which we are kind of continue the rise, continue the upward movement. The only thing that make me really not to believe in this and just to believe in the continuation of the consolidational movement is the upward movement of stock market. So if stock market gets into a consolidational phase and dollar prices continue to rise, maybe we could have here some situation of the continuation of upward movement to 0.9240 or 0.9220 for US dollar to Swiss franc, and for euro to franc as well. Here we could really have the continuation of upward movement, but only in the case of stock market consolidation. So if stock market continue the consolidational movement and dollar prices continue to rise, here we really could have the continuation of upward movement, which could happen during some next sessions. US dollar to JPY, to Japanese yen, is really consolidating and really shrinking, and this shrinking of the volatility, this shrinking of volatility is not really good. It could actually mean that after the retest of 113.80, you could get reversed again. And just pay attention, if we retest 113.80 impulsively and with a one abnormal candle, this could mean that we are looking through the next reversal and are waiting for the next reversal, which could happen in the near future. So maybe to get into market again would be a better situation to just get into the market if we are going in the future, if we are going to fix above 113.50. So if we fixed above this level in the future, because I think that prices are going to reverse a little bit, but if we are going to fix above this level, or if we are going to retest it with a one abnormal candle, like here, for example, like here with one abnormal candle, if we retest it, this could be a really good sign of next reversal on the continuation of upward movement. But just pay attention, this upward movement is really under pressure. And the main reason is that commodity prices and dollar prices are kind of consolidating both. So what is going on with WTI? As we saw, the prices of gas, natural gas, continue to rise, and they are going to continue the upward movement. They have already made the correctional movement, and now they're getting into a bullish phase. And what would go on with the oil prices? Let's see, and let's just check it on the chart of oil prices. So what we had from previous time, it was a reversal, which we actually saw the signal of which we actually observed on the hourly or 4-hour chart, and it was the formation of the convergence which is here between the lines of oscillator of RSI and minimums. And the situation which we have now actually is more looks like, especially due to the daily charts, it really looks like that situation could be really bullish. And here maybe with a really little amount of risk, we could continue to buy. But $66 or $68 is the range inside which we don't have to get. So if prices are going to get inside this range, this won't be the really good signal, first. And second, maybe we are here or really getting into a phase of widening volatility, or the formation of a widening pattern when the volatility is expanding and is getting just wider and wider, inside which you cannot just trade. But this daily candle of previous day is kind of get us some hope, but anyway, the closure of it and the opening of the today's candle under the nearest main psychological level of $70 just tell us that maybe here we are going to have some speculative and downward impulses. Speculative short-term downward impulses that just won't let bulls to get into market, won't let, as we say, little bulls or bulls who are not that big, and bulls which doesn't actually have a strategy to just make less risks because of this stop loss which we have, which is really wide here. And I'm just even look at this range, and I think that maybe it's going to get retested again. So maybe just let's wait for the next retest of this level. And the best thing that we can do during the day, I think, due to oil prices, is to limit the risk about $68, but just pay attention that we are really impulsively are getting near to $70. So here we have a widening of volatility, and here we have an opportunity of nearest retest of this level. But in the future, maybe in the near future, in the nearest sessions, American session, Asian session, we are going to observe some reversal downward. So here in the midterm, in the long term, the continuation of upward movement is obvious. But in the short term, we could really get some downward impulses which you won't like. But after we get them, we actually could be more sure about the start of upward movement. So if we get any false breakthrough of 66 or 68, this would mean that prices are going to rise further. So we just need an impulsive downward candle, bearish candle, which retest this range, and after that is going to go higher. United States dollar to Canadian dollar is consolidating because dollar prices are not rising, and the oil prices as well. And if you actually saw on the price chart of oil, previously oil have been raised and dollar have been raised as well. So this pair, United States dollar and to Canadian dollars, showing us the correlation of United States dollar to oil prices actually. And when both of them are rising, price of this pair is going to get consolidated. So for the continuation of upward movement, we really need to get some reversal downward movement for oil, but I'm not really believing it. And here, maybe we are going to have some upward impulses in the near future, but due to the picture of midterm chart, of the 4-hour chart or daily chart, here the opportunity of next downward reversal is higher. We had a really good retest of a really important level, which is under a psychological level of 1.30, and it's about 1.2950. So we have a range a little bit higher, which ends by a psychological level of 1.30. And now we just retested more important level, which have been retested previously, historically, 1.2950, and actually we retested it really impulsively. And the continuation of dollar prices upward movement is not that high because dollar prices are getting shrink, and the moderate continuation of upward movement of dollar prices is realistic, but even that won't really help the prices of United States dollar to Canadian dollar to rise, because the oil prices could really continue the upward movement. They could just make some downward impulse, which could cause this pair to just retest 1.30 or even 1.2980 or 50, and after that it's going to reverse. So in the midterm, we are looking for this reverse. We are waiting for this reverse. But when it's going to happen, as we say, you have to just wait for it. The divergence here could really mean that prices are going to reverse somehow in the future. We have a really mild divergence which continue, and in the case of its continuation, the next price reversal would be more logical. Let's see what's going on with the Bitcoin prices, with Ethereum prices, Dogecoin prices, Bitcoin Cash prices, and Polkadot, Chainlink, Ripple, EOS, and Cardano. They're all and the Stellar. They're all the most good priced and actually popular, as we can say, the crypto pairs which we added to our terminal. And as you see, we have them. We just now going to check the prices of crypto market. What happened during previous sessions? Actually, we have a really cool sign of a reversal. We have a really cool sign of a reversal due to the 4-hour chart of Bitcoin, which is a convergence, which we cannot actually see it on the daily chart, but we can see it on the 4-hour chart. But the most important thing that we have on the Bitcoin price, on the Bitcoin chart prices, let me just delete some levels which are not really useful, is that you have a really important level of $50,000 here. And what we are looking now is that prices are going to retest this level again. And the probability of its retest in the near future is high. $50,000, $53,000 could get retested in the near future, but the convergence exists only on the 4-hour chart, not on the daily chart. So here, maybe the continuation of upward movement in some sessions, in some near sessions, is logical, but a real reversal movement or a real upward movement just need a fixation, a price fixation above $53,000 or $50,000. So until we get above these levels, until we get fixed above these levels, we cannot say about the continuation of upward movement. 53,000, 50,000 is a really important mirror level, which is retesting now. And to be more correct, actually, I can say that the mirror range is 47,000 to 53,000. So until we get under 47,000, situation could be bullish, and after the retest of 53,000, the situation could get bearish. We are inside a really consolidational corridor. So the Ethereum here is showing us, unfortunately, on the 15-minute chart that is shrinking, and here we have some sign of the divergence, but it's not so sharp. It's really mild somehow, and of course we get above $4,000. The only thing that really makes me scared that after the fixing above $4,000 on the Ethereum chart, we are getting a really low amplitude. The size of the candles are getting lower and lower. It shows us this price after the retest of a really important level, and after the fixing above it, the amplitude is getting lower. This means that maybe we are going to reverse and go downward. That's the first thing. And or in somehow it could just mean that prices are going to retest 4,000 again. So maybe it could be a better chance for buyers to get into the long positions again. But let's see what kind of levels we have on the daily chart and 4-hour chart of Ethereum. Just delete some of the unuseful levels. 4,000 is a really important level. Is a really mirror level actually, and I would like to just take 4,200, more conservative, 4,200 as a local resistance, which could get retested. But after it retest, there is no guarantee that we are going to continue the upward movement. And 4,100, 4,200 are the levels after the retest of which we are going to reverse maybe. But the main range is 3,000, 3,800, 4,200. So if we continue to get strength above 3,800 in the near future, even in the case of the breakthrough of 4,000 downward, the probability of continuation of upward movement would be more likely, and this could mean that the long term could be really bullish. So 4,000, the retest of 3,800 is a thing that could happen, and you just have to know it. So in the nearest future, prices are going to actually show some volatility inside this corridor of 4,200 or 3,800. Under these levels, under this range, above this range, situation would be more obvious. But if we get such a thing like here, like a really straight sign of amplitude low, when amplitude is getting lower, this really doesn't mean that prices are going to continue to rise. So unfortunately, after the test of this level, we have such a sign. And if we get any upward impulses or some shrinking like this, upward, the shrinking formation of volatility inside the flag pattern or wedge pattern, this won't mean that prices are going to continue to rise, as you know. So all these technical factors you have to just pay attention on. And unfortunately, I cannot say that bulls can really continue to run the market.Maybe they have to just wait for some downward impulse. And Bitcoin prices are telling us as well that today's impulse was really powerful. And due to all of these factors, maybe we have to just wait for some correctional downward movement, and after that we can get into market. Again, it could happen during next sessions. Bitcoin Cash continue to shrinking, of course, as well. But here we have a level, unfortunately, under which we are located. Let's be more correct, and just 440 is a level under which we are located. And before we get fixed above this level, with a good amplitude, with a continuation of upward movement, at least moderate upward movement, until this kind of scenario, the continuation of downward movement here is more likely. So Bitcoin Cash maybe is going to make some downward impulses, and just after that is going to rise. So we have to just maybe get into market and wait for better levels. But this kind of shrinking in a downward channel could really mean that prices are kind of going to continue the main phase. So the continuation of upward movement here in the midterm, the long term, is actually obvious. But in short term, maybe we could have some correctional downward movement. Dogecoin, what's going on with Dogecoin? In the 15-minute chart, unfortunately, we have a sign of divergence. And this could mean that prices are going to make some reversal movements, but it would be really short-term reversal. And what kind of levels we have? Nearest level is 0.19, which is a psychological level. And could it get retested in the near future? I think that it could, but we just need to finish this shrinking which we have here. So this shrinking of volatility could really finish by a downward impulse, and after that we could get strength and go upward. Chain link shrinking and the sign of divergence as well. Here on the all of this altcoin charts, we actually can observe that probability of downwards correctional movement is high, but in the midterm, the long term, the continuation of upward movement is the main scenario that could really happen. Polkadot as well, showing us some pressure to local resistance. Do we have any important level near to this? 25 is a really rounded level, it's a really good level, which is rounded between 20 and 30. 25 is a really rounded level, and in the case of its retest, maybe we could get some problem with bulls, but we just need to know that the retest of 25 is the main thing that we are looking for, and it could really happen, the retest of 25, and it's a really actually historical not a really bad level. So if we get above 25 and we get fixed above 25 on the 4-hour chart, on daily charts within some days, this could mean that prices are going to continue to rise. But this upward movement could be really sharp as well. So maybe it's going to happen today or during next sessions, and then just to make you all wait for some correctional and consolidational movement above this level. And after that, make some downward impulses, and just after that, start to rise. So here we are really retesting an important level of 25, and kind of prices are showing us that we are going to get strengthened above this level. We have a convergence here on the daily chart. We had a convergence, and it's a really mild convergence, which actually made prices to reverse. And unfortunately, this convergence doesn't exist on the 4-hour chart. So be so careful. Maybe here we could get some downward impulses, but it would be just a correction. So in the midterm, the long term, as I said, most of altcoins look bullish. Litecoin prices, unfortunately, is really near to the local resistance, and the potential of next upward impulse is really higher. What we had from last time, we had a divergence, and as we saw, the next reversal. But what is going on now? It's really powerful shrinking of the volatility, which could mean the continuance of upward movement is more likely, and this movement could be really impulsive. And in the case of the high impulsiveness of this next movement, upward movement, we could get reversed downward again. Don't have any signs of divergence. We had the signs of divergence, but it actually ended. So here we have the really mild divergence, and now it doesn't even exist. So continuation of upward movement is the main thing that we can say in the long term. 150, really rounded level, really important level. but it's located really far from the price action and really far from the price location. I'm sorry. So just let's say that we have a range which could get retested in the near future, which is a risk range of 151 or maybe 152, 150. 152, 150 could really get retested in the near future. So this range could get retested, but that's a risk range after the retest of which we could reverse and continue the upward movement. So that's the only risk that we have. That's the only range of the risk that we have. But the continuance of the upward movement is more likely. And this movement in the midterm could continue to local resistance, which we have 160. So 151, 100, I'm sorry, 152, 150 is a range of the risk for bulls, and the 160 is the next target of price rising in the case of the right release of energy after this kind of accumulation, which we have here. So as I said, the divergence is really mild, so it doesn't have the sign of any divergence actually. Just delete it. Ripple prices getting strengthened above some local resistance, but I think that it could get retested again. So here we have a range of 0.88, 0.86, which could get retested, and after that, the continuation of upward movement is more likely. But just pay attention. After the retest of this range, we would be more sure about the trend. We would be more sure about the price action. 0.86 and under this level for Ripple, the market would be bearish, and above 0.88, market is bullish. So just pay attention on the retest of this range in the near future. Else, really shrinking, prices are really shrinking after the retest of this local resistance. I think that prices are going to make some reversal movements here because of this shrinking, and in the near future, in the really nearest future, we could get some downward correctional movement. But mainly in the long term, the midterm, we are waiting for the retest of 3.21, 3.25, after which we could reverse and continue the upward movement. So until we get under this level, 3.20, 3.21, the probability of continuation of upward movement is more high and likely. So the Cardano, what's going on with Cardano? Unfortunately, we have some divergence sign on the short term, price chart, which could mean that in the near future, in the nearest future of next sessions, we could get some reversal after the retest of local resistance, which is a mirror level of 1.28. But in the midterm, we just need to wait for this downward movement. So in the nearest future, an upward impulse, retest of 1.28, the next reversal. But after this reversal, we have to just wait the prices to get strengthened above 1.20. 1.20 is really far from here, but 1.23, 1.20, let's say 1.23. And after the retest of 1.23, maybe we're going to get strengthened again. So here is the risk range, which we have the nearest risk range of 1.25, 1.23. And this range could get retested. And how the price is going to retest this range would mean that prices are going to continue the upward movement, or they are going to continue the consolidation movement. So in the midterm, in the long term, the continuation of upward movement for this altcoin as well is more likely, is more logical. But in the short term, we have some sign of consolidation movement. And we're going to finish our today's market review by the analysis of the Stellar coin chart. At the 15-minute chart, the shrinking, really high shrinking, really shrinking of volatility, which actually is not happening by divergence. There's no divergence here, and the continuation of upward movement is more likely, I think, due to the 4-hour chart, due to today's impulse. And as we see, today's impulse was really high, today's impulse was really sharp, but it could continue. And the nearest retest of 1.28, 1.27, 1.2740 is more likely. So we're waiting for the retest of these levels. And after the retest of these levels, the prices are going to, mainly they're going to reverse. And in the midterm, there is a support about 0.26, 0.25 if you're more, 25 is so far, 0.26. The support of 0.26 is a midterm support, is a long-term support. So in the midterm, the long-term, if we are not going to get fixed under this level, under 1.26, the continuation of bullish market is more likely for this, for Stellar. Thank you guys that you watched this video, that you watched this review. If you liked it, don't forget to share it, and don't forget to subscribe on our channel, and don't forget to ring the bell so you would know what kind of programs we're going to have in the near future, and you don't really need to miss them. Thank you again, and till next time, have good tradings. Bye bye.